So, I wanted us to make a video, and a lot of people wanted us to make a video concerning the situations that we have gone through on this like polygyny walk. This walk through polygamy.
Alright.
Okay. So, what I wanted to do was I wanted you to kind of talk about, you know, like what happened with the two girls that we did court.
Okay, so what do you want to say?
I don't want to, we can't give any names, we can't say any names out of respect for them.
Okay, so where you want to start with that?
Well, they already know how we got here. I actually have a video
okay.
that talks about that.
So where did you leave off?
I wanted to talk about like the first sister, and more so not even how it got together, but more so how it fell through.
Oh, how it fell through.
Yeah, but you gotta be a little. I know it's hard to be vague on it, but I want to give details, but I want us to be a little bit, you know, for the sake of anonymity.
Well, the way I understand things, the way I made sense of things, was basically someone thought that they were ready for such a thing, but then they found out that they weren't ready for it.
Right.
And instead of just see that well, actually she did admit that that's what it was, kind of, but
yeah,
people hate to be wrong, so she did try to say that we had ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Or she suspected us of ulterior motives.
Okay, tell them what happened, though. Tell them what happened. Come on.
It's crazy out there.
It's crazy. Like, really.
Okay, so from my vantage point, you came through telling me about this young lady you have been communicating with that came to you asking you some questions or whatnot, and then she was coming from the other woman's, or the second wife to be standpoint, and you figured, well, hey,
yeah, like, let's just kill two birds with one stone, because some of the people that were approaching her weren't very
yeah, and you
morally upright, and so I was like, why don't you,
yeah, and you approached me with it, and then I'd be like, you told me about it, and then she kind of did seem interesting. She was like our age, basically. And she was intelligent, and she was very strong-minded.
Yeah, we had a lot in common, and like I tend to end up teaching people, but she actually had stuff that she could teach me as well. So
yeah,
because there was other stuff, like we had stuff in common, but then there was stuff that she liked that I didn't really know about.
Alright, but here's the thing, like, she was very Pan-African.
Yes.
She was very Pan-African, or pro-black, if you want to say it. And it's like that was her main mission in life.
Yeah.
Right? And so we would communicate. It started off as the emails with you, and did she want me to write her first?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway, we spoke on the phone.
Yeah, during Sukkot, she called while we were out in the tent, and You know, I think she called your phone.
Well, no, that's cool, but you know, that's just particulars. But anyway, we spoke on the phone a couple of times, and it seemed like it was going good, and
and then and then a talk show, got a hold of, so I answered something on a page.
You responded.
Yes.
To
a statement on the page.
Was it a statement or was it an ad?
It wasn't an ad.
It was not an ad.
It was a statement on the page.
I thought it was but I mean, wasn't the statement meant as like to basically lure people in?
Yeah.
Right, so it was an ad basically.
I guess it was an ad.
Right, it was an ad. It was meant to, lure people of that culture.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah, polygynous, polygamous, everything that falls under the umbrella of polygamy. They wanted us to come out and talk.
Yeah,
our people. So
so after reading your response, then they wanted you on the show.
Yeah.
Right. So they wanted her on the show. They wanted us
on the show.
On the show.
Us too.
And in the the interview, you found out about us when they found out that we were talking to a female at the time.
Yeah, they asked,
then they thought it would just be the yeah, the biggest thing to have on the show too.
And so they told us to offer her. And if she wanted to come on the show too.
Yeah, so we did. I did, and it freaked her out at first.
It freaked her out at first.
Yeah, it freaked her out at first. She couldn't find out, like it just seemed like it was just like going crazy and wild, I guess.
And too fast.
It's like I just, met y'all, and then now all of a sudden it's a show,
Right.
I don't trust y'all.
Yeah, she didn't trust
deal,
it.
Was I duped
right
into this for this reason, I guess. So anyway, so
he talked her, he calmed her fears.
So I spoke with her and I calmed her fears, right?
For the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. And she realized her fears were calm, and she even basically like had this underlying suspicion of me now, that I have a way of getting into women's heads. Because she, it's like she had this memory of her being like, hell no. And then now all of a sudden she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Right.
Type thing. So now she's like, where did all the fear go? So she had this suspicion of me for that.
So they built the whole show. We tell the show, all three of us, we're going to be on there. And they talk to her, they interview her the same way they interview us. And they start building the show, because apparently these things are scripted. So they have to build a script for the shows, for the talk show host to ask you questions and all this kind of stuff. And they liked it so much, they were going to give us like a whole segment, and Sifa talked to the people and got like some great deals for us, for all three of us, we're going to be paid for our time and everything.
Right, now.
So, and then...
Right. And that also made us suspicious.
Right.
Because now it's like, from her, we're just creating this drama, I guess, to go after some kind of money deal.
Mm.
But I calmed her with that again. I told her, look, man, I don't care. If I'm going to be assisting somebody in making a profit, then, I need my share of that. That's just, it's simple economics, man.
Right.
If I'm assisting you in making a profit, then I need to get my share.
And then the deeper thing of it is that we are willing to put ourselves out there.
Right.
For, if we're not polygynous right now, we're like polygamy activists or whatever. We're willing to put our faces out there because this is something that we believe needs to be legalized as a marital option. A lot of people have no idea. They don't even know about it.
Right.
And they need to know about it.
Right. They're letting, homosexuals
Yeah, do stuff.
Get married on the books and.
But you know, if a man wants to be with 2 or more women and be legal to them even on the books, you know what I'm
Basically,
saying?
they don't want, another set of consenting adults
Right.
to do what they want to do. That's not
Yeah.
hurting
It's not hurting anybody.
anyone else. But anyways.
Right. So we get down to the wire, and they're ready for us to come out there, and she declines. She says she doesn't want to go. But here's the thing. They done already built the show around 3 people, not 2.
What it was is that apparently, like, with her troubles, she would speak with people about it to get their advice and insight, and to
Yes.
everybody, it was like,
right.
it's like they've heard of it and heard of it being done, and I guess in just them hearing about it, they're accepting of it. But now that they realize that it's real, that it's for real, that they're actually related to to a real example of it, and to a certain degree, whether it was to a 3rd or 4th degree, it's like now their real deep down stance on it
is about to show.
It's showing, which is that is some some disgusting thing, that there's obviously something else going on. They accused her of being a homosexual. She kept saying that. Are you sure? She kept saying, are you sure she doesn't have any homosexual tendencies? Because in their mind, they were trying to, I guess, wrap their head of how a woman
how could I possibly
can be accepting to her
want to share my
her man being with somebody else. So
right.
that was the conclusion that they fabricated in the head, that obviously she was some kind of homosexual, and it was going to be some just for us to, like, I guess, spice up our just fulfill our sexuality completely within our marriage, I guess.
Right. And then the other thing is what I've noticed being around a lot of Pan-Africans and pro-black people is that a lot of us are very big on African traditions, but when it comes to the fact that polygyny was very much so a part of the infrastructure in these African tribes, they want to discount that. They want you to throw that away.
Not just throw it away, but they want to make some ridiculous apologetics for it.
Right.
Right. They want to make some apologetics. They want to be like, well, it was because of this and because of that. It's like polygyny never existed simply because it was just more than a natural thing, or it was just very accommodating, right, for a man to have multiple wives. It always existed as a method, as a measure of repair for something else that was broken within the fabric of that society. It's always because because the men were always at war, or a lot of men died to war, so the men that were left, they wouldn't let, like, the just single women be there. But there's always some excuse for polygyny in history.
Right.
So.
But so she went to these people and they just basically tore it all up in her mind. So she canceled with the show. We tried to talk to her.
Right. So I guess basically we were due to all fly out the Monday. So it's like the Sunday night when the producer is talking to us, finalizing everything, about to tell us our flights and all that and everything. That's when, no, I think that was probably already finalized. But the producer called us the Sunday night saying I spoke with such and such and she canceled.
Right.
Right.
And so I tried to talk to her.
No. She called me before that. She called me. Yeah, didn't she call me or something?
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
No, yeah, she did call me. She called me and she told me she was canceling.
Yeah.
She gave me some roundabout story, and then I just don't think I'm ready for this, and I don't think that you guys are ready for this either. The way that you just want to jump out there.
And she wanted to know why.
Like that.
Why do you have to do it?
And
Why do you want to
I
be in
mean,
the front
because,
row?
and I told her, I'm like, like, look, man, she's been on YouTube for a few years now,
Yeah.
talking about this. Her whole, you know, issue with this is to put it out there.
Right.
Why wouldn't she not do this?
Right. Right.
But anyway, she didn't want to hear that. She just thought that we were a bit like either psycho or we were, we had ulterior motives.
And here's what's funny to me, as a first wife or an existing wife, however you want to say it. I tried to talk to her.
Right. You called her that evening, and then you got into it on the phone.
She got very angry with me.
Right.
And just very rude with me.
Right.
But of course, which, I mean, it was like because me and her, like, we're equals, right? So I can't tell her anything. It's basically how she's already treating me.
And not just that, but it's like you'll have this, I guess a lot of women have this competitive nature.
Right. So now we're suddenly in competition mode, which,
Right.
I'm not.
So
I'm really not that competitive at all.
She's been like real
aggressive.
I guess the damsel in distress with me, telling me that she's backing out of it and it's just her and the situation she's in and she's scared and all of this. But then now with you, it's she's
yeah. That's exactly what it was. She used to be real sweet and calm and nice with you, but then with me and her, now suddenly we're at odds and we're enemies, even though I'm saying the exact same stuff he's saying,
Right.
So we get off the phone, and I think we called her later.
No. After you got off the phone with her, right? I think she called back, or maybe the producer called her, got into it with her, and then she called back. And I mean, after she got off the phone with me the first time, I mean, that was it for me,
Right.
So I was done. So I'm just there continuing with my day, getting ready for, for Monday, the following day, for me to go out there and, get a profitable Monday done.
Right.
And you guys are still going at it on the phone.
How did that last phone call?
So then, I guess after the producer called her, she called my phone and she was crying.
Oh.
Right, she called my phone and I'm like,
That's
hello, and she's crying. She's like, and she's crying, telling me, please, like, leave her alone. And but while she's crying, I'm hearing, her brother in the background saying, tell him, you better tell him. And I'm just like, whoa, okay, like, all right, I've heard about you, but okay, so I guess you're in the mix too, right? And she's like, she's crying, calling my name, and then he grabs the phone from her, I guess. But anyway, he's on the phone now, and he's like, he's calm now. He's not as hype as he was.
Yeah, he was hype in the background.
In the background,
right?
He was,
phone,
he was hype, talking smack, But he's on the phone and he's calm. He's like, look. He's like, look, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, and I don't care. But please do me a favor and don't call my phone anymore. This is my phone. This is my house. I pay the bill. Don't call my phone. And I'm thinking, I'm like, call phone. Wait, I just got 2 phone calls today. And I'm the one being
told not to call.
Not to call. It's like, wow. It's like, whoa, how many times have I even called?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
So you said, okay, hang up the phone. So the next morning.
Yeah, the next day, we were checking our email. And she, wrote an email.
And she sent a video.
Explaining and giving me like a YouTube link about this.
This elder,
this elder, I guess this elder, because she was always, going to the meetings and listening to the elders. And there's something to be said about that culture, because everyone just always goes to meeting and listen to these lectures, pay this door fee this fee at the door to go listen to this guy who's this great Pan-African leader, give his lectures about what?
Talking.
About what? About, so anyway,
Talking.
Just talking, yeah. And we're just gonna forever just continue talking, yeah.
Right.
And you know, but anyways, yeah. So this guy is talking about basically here again making an excuse for polygyny in Africa. That's basically what he was saying.
Right.
And I'm noting this guy, man. He's just so charismatic, like the pastors, you know, and he's like, you know, like a Baptist pastor, and you know, an elder, you know, pro-black folks in the background, just like, yes, you know, like he's the preacher, hallelujah, and it's like wow.
And
it's
so,
like wow.
I look
because
at
we're just a bunch of dumbasses, you know.
Right.
That in order for anything to make sense to us, we have to
have the church,
get into this.
Get the organ and let's go. But anyway, so that happened, and after the night before, I was very offended that she would contact him again. So that's when I take over, because my thing is, you already let your brother yell at him and yell about him. Your brother already said he don't want him calling you anymore. So what I had concluded, because you know we're Hebrew, she already has a covering. She is not in need of a covering, because this is a grown woman. You know, I know in biblical times women were still in their father's houses, but she's not in her father's house. She's just out there. So she already has a covering now. It's her brother. So stay with your brother. And that's what I wrote her. I am taking back your access to him, because even though he's never heard about anything. He's never hurt. I'm more hurt, but you're not gonna hurt him. We're not gonna do that. So, you know, I told her that, and then she blocked both of us, and she sent emails and was like, "Please cease and desist."
Right.
Okay,
So you call.
Okay, we experienced a technical difficulty. We ran off all the memory on the last memory drive, so we inputted another one, and here we are now. You were saying, because I said she already had a covering, it was her brother.
No, you were saying like you took back access.
Yeah.
No letters, no emails.
Yeah.
So I was saying, so you know, so she went off and she blocked it. That's what you were saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's now she's like in her mind she's painting this picture that like, you know, now we're stalking her.
Right.
But you know, she was the one who called me. It's like the previous night called me twice to tell me, you know, don't call her.
Mm-hmm.
And then now she's writing me a letter to tell me don't contact her again. But after, you know, she wrote after she contacted me
after her brother said not to. So yeah,
it's complicated, man.
It's complicated.
I guess that's what these complicated relationship statuses mean.
Right, and so now I have to be like I was gonna say wise Nubian's wife, and say that women are crazy. Like she said on video, never did we know, because we were women, so we didn't know.
Yeah, that right there, that was an experience.
Yeah.
That experience taught me that, like, to every human being, you know, like when people come talking about, you know, I'm real. No, I'm for real. No, I'm for real. All right. To everybody, everyone has that you know, real is relative.
Apparently.
Right. Being real is relative.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm for real, but I'm not real. I mean, come on, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it taught me that, you know, somebody will come along talking about they're ready, but I mean, you never really know
you're ready.
You're ready, and unless you've, you know, you don't really know if that's the thing for you, if you really want to do that, unless you know you get into it and then you attempt to walk that walk. Right, and that's what happened to this young lady, to me. I mean, no, you know, nothing bad about her. She just thought she was ready. She thought it was something that she would be, you know, she would be into, right? But then realized that no, it's not for her.
Yeah.
And you know, she was the one always talking about, you know, like westernized mentalities and people stuck in the West. I think like I said, I think like polygyny is like the last stronghold of the West, because you always met these, these Pan-African conscious people, whether NOI, Hebrew or whatever,
Comedic.
whatever faction, yeah, comedic, or even just like, just nothing, just pro-black, or it's like they're gonna go on this walk trying to, attempting to reinstate the African cultures and traditions within them and their life. But the one thing that is difficult for them is polygyny.
Yeah.
That is the one thing. That is like, so I call that like the last stronghold of the West. They'll do everything. The girls will go natural. People will go get dreadlocks. They'll wear dashikis and all that. The women will wear burqas. The other women will wear these, these completely anti-Western style clothing.
Yeah.
They'll go that far. They'll stop
the cowrie
eating.
shells.
They'll become vegans.
Yeah.
They'll do all this thing, but the
ceremonies.
last thing they dare to do is polygamy.
Goodness
That's the
gracious.
last thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
okay, the second young lady.
it just shows our conditioning, how like deep.
Yeah. This is programming. That's what I
how
told somebody
deep
the
that
other
has been
day.
programmed into
I told
us.
somebody the other day, because when I spoke to her, she asked a question. When we all spoke to her, she said it's very logical, reasonable. It all makes sense when she hears it, because she is a reasonable person. She's not dumb, but she said, I just can't. There was this like something that sounded completely unreasonable, unlike her at all. I just can't get it. It's emotions. And I told her, I said, that's programming. The society has programmed us like this to think that we're not supposed to be.
It's basically programmed just the idea of it to trigger ill emotions within us.
I told her, I said, for society to force people to be only monogamous when humans biologically are polygamous. They just are. You can't you can't do that. You can't force them. That's why the divorce rate is high. That's why people are cheating. That's why all the baby mamas and all this type of stuff. And I just told her, very simple. You have to break the programming.
Right.
If you're truly going to be awake and be out of the matrix, you got to wake it. Okay. So.
Right, but then one of their most reasonable defenses for that is that basically, like, they say some people have more to gain out of it than other people.
Yeah.
But even that in itself is part of the programming too, because they're looking at it from still a westernized standpoint, that it's something of a loss for a woman to basically have to share her man.
Right.
So they're looking at it like, well, the man has more to gain, which, I mean, that's ignorance. When you really look at polygyny, it's not that. It's not like that. But that's another. I bet you've spoken about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that. You have
Yeah.
that video. Who benefits from
polygamy? Yeah.
from polygamy?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the second one.
The second one. We were very good friends. She and I. We were both Hebrew. We were both part of the same sites, and we got along really well. And I don't even remember how it started between the courting with us and her, but we kind of fell into it.
Nah, it's like she would come to you telling you, basically giving you these very unpleasant stories of other
Younger women,
other couples
mm-hmm.
that have come at her,
Mm-hmm.
but they basically came at her like trying to trick her
Yes.
into it, and like with no respect for her,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
anyway, she came to you like that.
Yeah, and I mean, like because you had your motorcycle accident.
Yeah,
and
I
she
had
would
just
call.
yeah, I had just had a motorcycle accident.
She would call every day.
Every day.
We would talk. We would text all day if I was on the computer.
Giving her support and everything.
If we were on the computer, we would email all day, chat all day long. And, you know, so, you know, I talked to her.
And you thought you had a lot in common with that.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah, like everything you liked, she liked.
Yes,
you felt like you had a lot in common. And I mean, man, I'd just be like laying down, just hurting from my broken bones and stuff, and they'll be on the phone just talking for hours.
Giggling about something. So, okay. So, you know, we fall into this courting thing, all of us. And at first, you barely talked to her even then.
Yeah,
I would pass messages between y'all.
She was like well, okay, she said she had grown up on a polygynous compound. Yeah. You know, she'd grown up, I wouldn't, you know, even though, well, anyway, she said she had grown up on this polygynous compound. Her father had how many women?
You know, I don't know.
Like,
I can't remember that.
Was it 3 or was it more? Maybe more. But anyways, and she had this big family, and she was part of this organization. Oh, yeah. But anyways.
So, yeah, so they start talking on the phone.
So anyway, so she acted like so basically, so with the first one, we're seeing that, you know, she thought she would be into it. Come to find out, she's not into it. The second one, now she's coming through, like, you know, it's natural for her. She grew up like that, right?
Right.
Okay, so
you know, we tell her come visit, right? We wanted her to come visit.
Well, we spoke, and then we were like, well, you know, we need to meet. If anything's gonna, before we go anywhere. Right,
because this was like very much so by the books, you know.
Yeah, we need to meet.
Yeah, there was no sexual talk with either one of them. There was no, you know, talk about anything. We talked about, like, if, you know, it was almost like a business interview. If you were to join this family, you know, what role would you play? You know, your goals, all this type of stuff, you know.
Right.
And so we were like, well, we wanted to make it serious, and she said she wanted to make it serious too, so we told her to come visit. And she said that she would.
She said that she would, and we agreed either on a date.
She sent us,
she would fly in.
And she sent us.
Right, and she sent us
a flight itinerary.
She sent us, like, you know, flight info, basically.
Yeah, flight information.
Flight information. And on that day, you know, we get up to go pick up at the airport, and well, yeah. You know, the night before.
Oh, yes.
Right, the night before. Well, leading up to it, you kept telling me that you don't, that it's kind of funny that she knows, like, everything you like, and she like it too.
Yeah, like everything.
Right.
Like everything, you know.
And I noticed the night before we were talking on the phone, and she really tried to.
Okay.
She tried to get, like. You know, the conversation was different. She tried to get, like, seductive on the phone.
Yeah.
I guess, if you would. Yeah, she tried to go, you know, seductive on the phone, and. But anyways, so.
I was asleep. And I noticed, like, the phone call, like, ended abruptly.
Right.
He got off the phone and came to bed. He was like,
yeah.
So, yeah, so next day.
Yeah.
Next day.
But, yeah, we went to the airport the next day, and...
In the sleet, cold, rain, snowy sleet.
To pick up, and, you
with
know,
all the kids in the car.
I guess the flight landed, and no one that looked like her.
No one that looked the way she described. Oh, because she didn't have any pictures, because she wasn't really good with a computer, but she could only describe herself, so she didn't have any pictures online. She had no webcam.
Right, she didn't have a webcam, didn't have this, I guess, because she wasn't supposed to have it or something like that, you know. Oh yeah, and one of the
Suckers,
key
apparently.
things about her is that from the get go she boasted herself to be a virgin.
Yeah.
Right. And she really kept like playing that up. Right.
Yes.
From time to time. And spoke about how, you know, she's still a virgin in her father's household and, you know, her father is very protective. Oh yeah, and her father was supposed to be from Africa.
Yes.
Right. You know, so a very, you know, conservative African, you know, guy who was one of the founding members of this polygynous community,
Yeah.
polygynous Hebrew community.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, so now we're not seeing her.
We don't see her, and you know, I had my head wrapped, and you know, and I'm telling the people, I'm like, I'm really looking for somebody like me.
No, you
like me.
you decide you're gonna go, you know, ask the counter woman.
Yes, that's who I'm talking. Yeah.
Right.
And
if something happened to the flight.
Right, did something happen to the flight?
Right.
I'm looking for a friend of mine that's supposed to come into town.
Right, did something happen? Did she not make the flight? Because because by that time she's not answering the phone.
She wasn't answering her phone.
She wasn't answering her phone.
And
if that entire day she wasn't answering her phone, not even to tell us, well, you know, I'm making my way to the airport or anything.
Right. So because I'm scared, you know, this isn't her town, you know, I'm afraid that something might happen to her. So I give them the name, and you know, airport people are supposed to follow a certain protocol. We are after 9/11, mind you. So, but this person didn't follow protocol. Yeah. They typed a name in.
Because
okay?
you know, one of the key things of the human being is to break protocol.
Right.
Right.
So she typed it in for me, and she was like, no.
Yeah.
She said it some way like she didn't come, and I was like. Oh no! You mean she missed her flight?
She said she's not in here.
Yeah, I said you mean she missed her.
No. She said she's not in it. Then yeah, you were like.
I was like, you mean she missed her flight?
You mean she didn't make the flight?
Yeah.
She's like no.
She was like no, she never made a flight.
She's never been in here. She's like actually she's never ever flown on American Airlines.
Right.
We have no record of her ever.
So y'all have to understand. We're in DFW, okay? Our airport has its own zip code. So we drove far in the snow, sleet, and rain to pick this child up.
About 20 miles, maybe.
Yes, with kids. We just bundled up the kids, and everybody 25. Got in the car. The dangerous ride on the freeway. And we went all the way out there. She wasn't there. So we come home. First thing I do, I get on the computer. And I Google her name. I'm late. We were completely naive about this, in my opinion. Now that we're talking about it, I just feel completely naive. I Google her name, and absolutely nothing shows up. No, that's wrong. Yeah. Something did show up.
You checked like all your like your people searching resources on the internet.
You know I have the access to the stuff.
Nothing showed up except that way. For Google.
Yeah, it showed up on Google.
Except for Google.
Craigslist.
There was a Craigslist.
A Craigslist ad. And so I click it.
In one of the cities that she claimed to live in.
Right. So, because she traveled a lot.
Because she said she lived in like 3 different cities because her job has her
moving all over the place. Yeah. So, I read the Craigslist ad. It's talking about a kitten, which she kept talking about this kitten when she and I would talk. Talk about this kitten that she's trying to sell for her and her husband.
Right. You see, and a husband. So we're like, whoa.
Whoa, what is this?
Whoa.
What is this? So
we called her phone.
Dude answers.
A guy answered. Now that's the second time this guy's answered the phone.
Yeah, he's answered before.
Called. And she said that is her father. But the funny thing is that whenever she would describe her father, because obviously I'm to meet this dude sometime, right? So she would describe her father. He always seemed like, you know, like Kunta Kinte, basically.
African.
Like he's very African, you know, the old African conservative guy.
Orthodox.
You know, so here I am, you know, prepping up myself to, you know, one day having to, you know, go talk to this man.
Right.
You know, trying to, you know, just see exactly the proper approach to take, you know, with, you know, how to do it right according to his culture, basically.
Right.
And
He doesn't sound in any
But
way.
yeah, the man on the phone,
like
he
this
doesn't
person.
sound as old as the guy. He sounds just regular black American dude. I'd give him maybe 40 years,
Yeah.
maybe 45 years.
Right.
Right. And
so we devised a little bit of a plan because we wanted to talk to her about this thing.
no, we just told him, hey, just when you see her, just have her call us. We just wondering like what happened to her, just concerned for her safety, make sure that everything is okay with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she called us.
Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah.
No, she called us crying, telling us about this horror story with her father, and then he just like didn't like the way it all went down. That I didn't even talk to him first before. I'm just like, whoa, so I'm talking to her and I'm like, well, I mean, if that's the case, like you should have told me that, your father
she should have told him.
was like that. She said, well, I shouldn't have to tell you that, you're just supposed to do it right.
Right. And see, the thing is, with me and him, when we were getting together and me and him started talking about marriage, I told him, I was like, I need you to ask my parents. It's like, you have to ask my dad. You have to. So, I mean, why wouldn't you tell? We don't know how your family,
But, that was at the point of marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
You had to, like, come in.
Right, that's at the point of marriage when I was actually asking for your hand in marriage. But she's talking just for, like, any encounter that I have to ask her father.
She should have said it. You have to ask my daddy. But she
and it's like, well...
she do it. But that's not even...
Right. So, we're like... so now we start telling her everything we found out. So I'm like, well, hey, so I'm giving her the story. I'm like, look, we drove to the airport 25 miles in, the sleet. Yeah. For you, very dangerous on the roads to get you. And I'm telling her everything that went on. And I'm like, and guess what? And the counter lady said, that they have no evidence of you ever being in the system.
You never bought a ticket.
You never ever bought a ticket with American Airlines. Ever. And you tell me like you fly at least twice a week.
Like she should have lots of frequent flyer miles to be able to make that trip.
Frequent flyer miles. So then now, even before that now, while we, everything is making sense to us, we're looking at the so-called itinerary she sent us, and then lo and behold, it's not really an itinerary. It's just like, you search a flight from like here to New York, and then it gives you like the flight options. You select the flight options, and right before you, you actually select it to, it gives you like that page with just the layout of the flight numbers that you chose and what time it takes off and what time it lands and your connecting flights and all that stuff. And at that point in time, yeah, we're feeling like a little bit of like idiots.
Right,
because we fly all the time, and then even yet and still, my family's from out of town, so they fly to visit us all the time. So they're always emailing me their itineraries,
and it don't look anything like that.
Like, man, like why didn't we?
Once again, naive.
Why didn't we realize that was a flight itinerary? So we're telling her all that and stuff, and now all of a sudden it's like there's no more tears. And now she gets like real aggressive now. She gets like real defensive, like real aggressive. And I mean, all this humble, I am a Hebrew virgin with an African, I mean, that went out the window.
And I'm shy and submissive.
And I'm shy and submissive and everything. And, wanting to say that she's going to call me master because that's just how, they did it in their community and stuff. I mean, all that's out the window. Now I'm just like another regular old, black woman just being like rude and aggressive and
she called us bigots and all this type of stuff.
Yeah, she called us bigots, man.
So
because I told her like, yeah, and actually, we did some research, we did some background checking on you, and you know what we found out? She's like, what? I'm like, you don't exist.
You don't exist, and you married.
I'm like, you don't exist. And I basically told her that the name she said was her name, where she got it from, how she constructed it, and how it's not even a real name.
No.
If she just did a research on it.
Right. Like nobody has ever had that name before, ever.
Because she's telling us, well, it's just a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gets defensive and stuff, yeah, heated up. She hung up. She called back. She called back later. She cried. She said, "Well, I know you guys don't believe me, but that's, but I'm telling the truth." And then she kept trying to contact through the internet, still trying to talk. She kept, contacting you through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking. Keep to this day. She still maintains her
quote unquote innocence.
Yeah, not her innocence, but that she actually exists. That is her identity. But I mean, the fact spoke for itself.
Yeah.
So we're doing a bit of research, and we're finding out that that kind of stuff is actually prominent on the internet. When people will just create these entire and complete alter egos to like live vicariously through their alter ego of a life they never had. Actually, I looked at a documentary, I think on True TV, about this lady on MySpace, this white woman in Hicktown, America, on MySpace, pretending to be her daughter.
Ugh.
So she'd post pictures of her daughter and use her daughter's name and everything,
yeah,
and have these two guys fighting over her. These two men, grown men, fighting over her, and one actually drove like 60 miles to get to the other one
and shot and killed him.
And shot and killed him.
At his job.
At his job,
and
yeah.
It's all not even the girl's fault, it's her mother's fault.
And when the police traced the cyber trail back to the mother's house, the little girl who was in high school, a senior in high school, she wasn't shocked. She didn't know anything about it. Come to find out, her mother.
Yeah. Been taking pictures of her and putting the pictures on the internet and stuff.
But anyway, man, there's some crazy people out there.
Yes.
So that was that one, and from then that was it. I mean, from that day, I'm just like,
very leery, because after that one, I was like really hurt. I was devastated for like 6 weeks. Him, like after 15 minutes, he skipped off and he's like, "Well, glad we know now, we didn't find out later." And I'm just like, how can you, So my feelings were hurt. I actually got her blocked from a couple of sites. I let them know the experience that we had with this person, because that's when we started looking back on everything. She really didn't sound the way.
Yeah, man. It's like, she's saying she's like 28.
Yeah.
Right? And
shouldn't sound.
The two pictures she put, the first picture she posted was really in a distance. You couldn't make up anything. She's describing herself, and I mean her description is just supposed to be like this fantastic looking female that she's painting.
The description she gave is the description that every black American man would prefer. I'm not saying every, but the stereotypical black American man would want.
Right, like video vixen kind of.
Light skin, long hair, and big booty, thick. Light skin, long hair.
But her father's African.
And
she's from, she's a virgin from this, Hebrew polygamous compound.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with the virginity thing,
her voice
was like,
her voice. I mean, she sounds like she made, man. I'd give her like 40.
Yeah.
She sounded 40, and she sounded overweight.
Yeah, she did.
But
the whole thing about being a virgin, a lot of people in the polygamous world have a thing for virgins, and for some people it's like a downright fetish.
So basically,
and so she also kept saying that as well to get him to be
so
interested.
Basically it's like she's trying to like live this life vicariously through this alter ego, and I guess I don't know, some people out there are just crazy. I don't know if that's how she gets off, thinking, well, she's the second wife to this couple and stuff. So she painted this image of herself online, thinking that, well, as this character that she believes that all black men would just fall for at the drop of a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's this character she built for herself.
And we talked to the other couples that she had been talking to previously.
That she had said were
bad. She said they were bad.
She said that they were basically just disrespecting her in the way they were, pursuing her and stuff. So we spoke to them
to compare notes.
To compare, yeah, and
come to find
it
out,
was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. So we kind of like we leery now.
Yeah, right now it's like first of all, let me say, like, I have never just actively pursued a second woman. I've never just been there with my antennas up, just looking and looking. Never posted eyes, never went out there, put myself out there or anything. It's always her doing her thing, you doing your thing on YouTube, and talking to different people in different online communities about it. And then from there, so far 2 women have popped up, right, and even then now, like, they'd pop up, and then I'd be like, okay, why not, let's see what's out there. But after these 2, it's like, man, I don't know,
that was a couple of years ago, but we just kind of
that was
taking a step back from.
Yeah, that was like the last incident was in like late 2009, like really late 2009. But after that, it's like, we just took a step back. And
because we always feel like wives should have like a good relationship with each other, right? Because they're gonna be more of the team players and everything, But I don't really. It's not that I don't have that trust, but I just don't even bother to approach people.
And I mean, that last one, just seeing that the extent she would go through, the amount of the amount of crazy people out there, you kind of realize like how it's too much, because now you have to screen people. You have to now be on guard for certain dangers.
Yeah.
Right. And it's too much, man. I do not have that kind of time.
Because what I told her when we were arguing is that if you Google Dream Girl 360, you find out a lot about me. But the point is, I exist.
Right.
And I'm everywhere.
She was heard that we did a background check on her.
Yeah.
And the first one too, she was kind of like shocked that we did a background check on her.
Yeah.
No. She didn't know we did a background check.
Oh, she didn't know?
No, she
didn't. But I know we did one.
But we did one. I mean, we did one. I mean, come on, man. I mean, in this day and age, I mean, you can't expect somebody not to do a background check.
Yeah, the second one, I was just way too happy that we had so much in common.
No, I think the first one didn't know we did a background check, because when I told her, and I was like, you could do one on us too. She's like, you did one on me? Yeah.
We advised her to do one on us.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have that kind of time, man. It's just too much. As a man, I feel like I am complete.
Okay.
Like I always say, if something happens later on and we happen to cross paths with somebody and everything is right, then yeah. But I mean, first of all, we were never actively pursuing, but now, the ones that come out and raise their hand and say, hey, how about me? It's like, nah.
Yeah, no, we just step back.
Nah, man, there's like there's a lot out of life I want for me to, really dedicate time into that. I'd rather use the time somewhere else, especially knowing that you're gonna keep going through these incidents and these experiences that we went through.
Who wants to bring somebody into it that could potentially have a bad personality or something unforeseen that could wreck everything? So we have to really look at people.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do it at all. So I just wanted to give you all the details, because the question always comes up with me and people if we have ever pursued anybody, if we've ever had any other wives. We've never had any other wives. That hasn't happened yet, but yes, we have not pursued, but we have pursued a relationship with certain sisters, and that's how it went. So, shalom. We done.
That's dope. Okay. Alright. You want to do another one?
No, I want to go sleep.